What a win in Los Angeles. 1-3, shy of the Warriors franchise record in May 3s. And we gain on the Lakers in the standings. Now we win out, which means we beat the Blazers, we beat the Pelicans, and we beat the Jazz. And we'll host the play-in game against the Lakers at worst, which would obviously be nice, or against somebody else. Well, against somebody else, it's pretty much impossible, I think. But we should be ahead of the Lakers in the standings if we win out. I'm pretty sure. And it obviously helped. LeBron today was sick. Still played despite it. Still played great. And Anthony Davis had to miss the game, which was obviously the bigger miss for the Los Angeles Lakers. He suffered the injury in the game against Minnesota to his head. He's been nauseous. And yeah, he missed tonight, which obviously helped us. And we took care of business, man. We took care of business in LA, where the game kind of felt over to me in the third quarter. And throughout the game, watching the first half, I felt really safe about this game, weirdly enough. And despite it being a 5-point game with like 5 minutes left in the third quarter, I was confident that we were going to get this done. And the biggest storyline of the game, easily Draymond, right? And especially of the first half, Draymond 5 of 5 from the 3-point line. And I mean, imagine watching a Draymond go 5 of 5 from downtown against you. That shit has to be insane mentally. And just overall, a really great game for Draymond. He had also 10 assists and 6 rebounds to go along with those 5 threes. So that was a really good game for Dre in LA against his king. And we have Andrew Wiggins back in the starting lineup. He missed the 2 games with the knee injury. And he looked rested. He had his moments. A really efficient 17-point game for Wiggins with 3 blocks. Really timely 3-pointers in the second quarter also. And in the first quarter, it was Podziemski with his offense. The Milwaukee Mauler, as Fitz loves to say now. He was looking for his shot, and he's been wonderful, man. It feels like he's gotten, the right amount of aggressive with his offense right now to go along with his all-around hustle and play. That it's just been awesome to watch, man. Then you also have Kuminga's, return off the bench, which was last game, but now, with an established role off the bench. And even though tonight was not his night, he made some really good plays in the second half, I thought, especially in the game-winning run at the end of the third quarter. And another good rebounding night for Kuminga, and he had some unlucky misses also, so I'm not worried about that. Played just 21 minutes as Steve Kerr went with GP2 to end the game instead of him. But overall made some really good plays, and I liked it. And overall, I thought we played some really solid defense. LeBron obviously was LeBron. Austin Reeves made some really tough shots in the first half, but kind of fizzled out in the second half. D'Angelo Russell only made tough shots, and he was sped up all night. We clamped down D'Lo, really. He was pretty much non-existent in tonight's game. Then Rui completely bottled up. And, Spencer Dinwiddie was hitting some bullshit also. So we pretty much lived with those. And it was great. It was, I would say, a solid defensive performance, all things considered. And the only negative of the game was the start to the second half, where it was a little rusty and we allowed the Lakers to get back into the game. But it was the second unit, right? Chris Paul, Kuminga, Podziemski, Trace, and Klay that took this game over in the second half, in the third quarter, in the back end of the third quarter. Klay just continues with his great play, was 10 of 16 tonight. Really efficient night from Klay, and overall, he's been looking so good, man. I feel like he's been looking as healthy as ever, honestly, throughout these last couple of months. And Steph, another finally an efficient night, should I say, right? 7 of 9 shooting, 6 of 6 from the 3-point line. I mean, him and Dre, right? Combined for 11 of 13 from the 3-point line. Hard to lose with that. Just 2 turnovers, 8 assists, 7 rebound, an all-around really great night from Steph. He was locked in, didn't force it, took really good shots, and it was awesome. Then you had GP2, like I said, in there in the fourth quarter to help us close it out. He made the play of the night with that block. Onrui Hachimurabu was just baffled. And Draymond had a clutch block in the fourth. And we ran them out there building in the fourth, besides letting LeBron get some twos. So a great night from the starters, great night from the bench. Shooting night for the ages. We were just 4 3-pointers shy of having the NBA record in made threes. And 3 obviously of tying it. So incredible. And they were all really good shots, right? You don't expect Draymond to take and make 5 a game, obviously, but most of the shots we took from the 3-point line were created and great looks from our offense. So that's awesome. But to the major point of this video, which is the standings. 3 games left for us. 3 games left for others. For the Lakers, it's just 2 now. And if we win out, which means, like I said, beating the Blazers, the Pelicans, and the Utah Jazz, we should be the 9th seed. When we look at the Lakers, schedule, they are playing against the Grizzlies and the Pelicans. If they win both those games, they should be, and we win all our games, they would be at the same record. And we have the tiebreaker with this win against them, so we would be ahead of them in the standings. Then you have the Sacramento Kings coming in there. They play the Pelicans and the Suns, with the Blazers being their last game of the season. So that's where it gets really interesting and tricky. And we need to open these up so we can talk about it. We can talk about them. As obviously the Suns, the Pelicans, and the Kings are our prime targets. We can get ahead of the Suns, I'm pretty sure. Well, we could if they lost all of their games, which would mean losing to the Clippers, losing to the Kings, and losing to Minnesota, which would take them to 46 and 36, and we would win all our games. But that would also mean the Kings would win against them, which means it would be really much tougher to get ahead of them, since they have the tiebreaker over us, which would mean we would need Phoenix to lose all of their games to get ahead of them. If Phoenix wins one more game, we can get ahead of them because we lost the tiebreaker with them. So Phoenix has to lose all their games for us to get ahead of them. And if they lose to Sacramento, Sacramento can't win any other game to get ahead of them. But that means the Pelicans would obviously be the 6th seed. And we could not get ahead of them even if we beat them here, because they would have beaten the Kings. And that would mean, obviously, having 48 wins, which the Warriors can get anymore. So when we look at the standings, the Warriors can get to 47 wins, which means they can get to the 7th spot at best. As the Lakers, even if they win out, we're ahead of them if we win out. The Kings, they would have to win only one of their games, and preferably against the Suns or the Pelicans. We need one of those teams to slip up, right? And it would be nice if the Suns lost all their games and the Kings won just against the Suns. That would take us to the 7th spot, because the Suns would have 46 wins, the Kings would have 46 wins, and we would win the tiebreaker with the Lakers, putting us at the 7th spot. But the other opportunity is also the Pelicans losing all their games, which would mean they would have 47-35 record. We would be at 47-35. And they would have to they would have to lose to the Kings. And the Kings would have to lose to the Blazers in that scenario. Because if the Kings beat the Pelicans, lose to the Suns, and then beat the Portland Trail Blazers, they would be ahead of us in the standings. So it's pretty complicated. But it's pretty much... you pretty much need Phoenix to lose all their games and the Kings to win just against the Pelicans. Or you need the Pelicans to lose all their games and the Kings to not win any other game besides the game against the Pelicans. There are no other options in this scenario for us to get the 7th seed. We can get to the 8th spot also, obviously. We could get there. We could get there if, what would it be? If the Pelicans lost all their games and the Suns lost all their games, that would take us to the 8th spot, I'm pretty sure. Because we would have the tiebreaker with the Pelicans. The Kings have the tiebreaker with us and the Lakers. We have the tiebreaker with the Lakers. That would take the Suns to the 10th spot, and we would be facing off against the Kings in the 7th to 8th game. So there are a lot of opportunities. Hopefully I explained them right, but obviously it's hard to do when it's so complicated, and I can write it down on a paper here. I'm gonna link a post in the comment section where I'm pretty sure I saw one of the fans on Reddit explaining it, so I'm gonna link that down below. And yeah, hopefully we could get to that A spot at worst. Fate would have to, be with us to get to the 7th spot and host the playing game, but that is a chance, which is nice. And we gave ourselves that chance, and we have a chance to at least host that 9 to 10 playing game, even though is that good for us since we have not been that good at home. And we also have a chance to get to that A spot and have 2 chances to get into the tournament. So that's awesome. We have the Nuggets Timberwolves tonight for the first spot, which really determines where we need to be. If the Nuggets win and they are the 1 seed, which I expect that to happen, I would much rather obviously face the Timberwolves than the Nuggets. And I think we could surprise the Timberwolves in the first round if we would win that 7 to 8 spot game. But the stars could be aligning. We'll see. We'll see, man. But as always, thank you all for watching. Big count to others. The Warriors are playing great, and I'll be back on, what is it? On Friday with the Warriors against the Blazers video. And yeah, see you then.